everyone, this is Aurora with Supercharged Science, homeschool science curriculum and programs for K through 12. And I just wanted to share the science questions that I usually like to ask after kids finish a science project. And so if you like this and you want more, don't forget to get my complete packet of homeschool science topics, what you should be teaching when and what time and what topic, for what age. You can get that at www.superchargedscience.com. Okay, so whether your kids are doing a science fair project or they're just doing homeschool science at home and they've completed their project and you're wondering, did they learn anything or did they just have fun? So there's a set of questions. There's 5 questions plus 1 bonus that's super easy to remember, super easy to do. So grab a pencil right now and write this down, or just watch this again when you've got more time. Okay, so number 1, so your kids have done a project and they come back to you and they're like, look, and you're like, I have no idea what that is. That's okay, you don't have to. Here's the first question you ask. You say, wow, where'd you get your idea from? Now what we're looking for here is what is important to them. Where is their source of inspiration? Say, oh, well, I was reading this book and I saw this thing and then I thought about how I can improve it and then I made this. Or they'll tell you, oh, well, you know, I was thinking about this problem that we were having with the toilet seats always being, you know, left up in the house. And so I designed this laser that shoots straight down to the toilet, but it only activates when the door is closed and it's nighttime. And I'm actually not making that one up. My oldest did that one time. And he hooked it up to a siren. And one night it went off at 2 a.m. and it was really loud and woke everybody up, but it worked. Okay, so you're asking, number 1, where'd you get your idea from? You just want to get a little background about where they're coming from. Question number 2, what question are you trying to answer with this experiment? You see how you don't have to know anything about what they're doing? So you can ask them, what are you trying to figure out? See, no scientist in their right mind is going to do an experiment they already know the answer to, which is why a lot of those homeschool textbooks, or even not just homeschool, regular textbooks and lab kits, that's where they fall short, because they'll say step 1, step 2, step 3, here's your final result. And you're just going through the motions. That's not science. Science is how to think. It's how to ask questions, design an experiment to get your answers. And that's what you want to know from your kids. Well, you built this catapult. What were you trying to figure out? And they're like, I just wanted to build it because it was cool. All right, well, let's take this experiment and take it a step further, because so far all you've done is a project. You haven't done a science experiment. You're like, well, I really want to know if I can, you know, put this ball over the roof. That is a great question. Let's find out. What do you need? Oh, you need more energy. It's going too fast, too slow. Oh, we need more oomph in there, more potential energy, in order to translate it to kinetic energy to get it over the roof. Okay, so you see it? So number 1, where'd you get your idea? And number 2, what are you trying to answer? So question number 3, what did you find out? What were your results? I can't tell you how many lab reports when I taught mechanical engineering at Cal Poly were missing this step. And usually I'm only looking for 1 or 2 sentences. What are your results? You know, what'd you get? You're like, well, you know, I made this catapult and it smacked the window. Okay, what'd you find out? Well, I need more vertical and less horizontal. Okay, that's a result. Whatever it is, that's your result. This is unfortunately where a lot of people will fudge their results because they don't want to seem like they did their experiment wrong. And so you need to train your kids that no matter what the result is, that is the result. The results stand. It may not be what you originally thought, and that's okay, and that's where you start to get curious and roll into question number 4, which is, what would you do differently next time? So they've done their experiment, they've made their catapult, you know, it shot really high, but it didn't actually go very far. And you're like, well, I would put a little bit more of an angle so it would go over the house. I'm like, okay, that's great. What would you do if you had more time, more resources? This is question 5. If you had more time, more resources, what are the next steps to take your work even further? You know, what if somebody else were to pick up your work and say, I love this, I want to do more of it, the question, you should have recommendations like, okay, if you're going to continue my work, these are the things that the areas I would look into. You know, I would try a longer moment arm on the catapult. You know, I would change the ball size, for example. You know, what exactly is it that you would do if you were to continue your work? Okay, so those are the 5 questions that you can ask. Now, did I know anything about what my kids were doing? No. Did I know how to ask really good questions? Yes. So again, those quick questions. Where'd you get your idea? What were you trying to figure out? That's number 2. What'd you find out? What were your results? Number 3. Number 4, what would you do differently next time? Number 5, if I were to take your work and take it 1 step further, what would be my steps? 5 easy steps. These you can actually, if you're a science fair judge, these are the questions you should be asking of every kid. And this will distinguish the winners from everybody else. Now, I did promise you a bonus question. Okay, so here it is. Here's my bonus question. I love asking this question because it really shows me how committed this kid is to their work and how communicative they are about it. And honestly, generally scientists aren't that great about sharing how important their work is and how it can affect and help other people. So here's your last question. How are your findings important? How is what you've actually done important in the world? You know, how is it significant? And so if your kid is able to answer that, now they've got something that is bigger than just them. And so it's bigger than just doing it in the moment, and it's expanding their bubble of awareness to be much more worldwide. So I hope this is helpful. If you like this and you want more, make sure you get that free download at superchargedscience.com/homeschool. superchargedscience.com/homeschool, and you can get that free download. We're actually doing a free class, a brand new class next week in physics. And so when you get that download, you'll be put on our list to get a personal invitation to this brand new class just in physics that we're going to be doing next week. We're going to be covering energy, forces, mechanics, motion, electromagnetism, optics, you name it. We're going to touch on all of them, and we're going to have a great time. So again, it's www.superchargedscience.com/homeschool. You can download that free homeschool packet. And I will see you next time. I'll actually see you tomorrow for our next Facebook Live. Take care, everybody.